Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
Back-to-back nights. I think it's the first
Back to back nights in the
ever.
house. You did not use the back in the house.
Back-to-back nights in the house, baby.
Well, yeah, emergency pod tonight because this tennis today was amazing. Amazing in drama. I didn't think it was actually like the quality was that amazing, but like the drama was amazing.
Drama was incredible. Yeah.
And then like really exciting match. Really, I think some really interesting matchups tomorrow. A couple matches we haven't seen before.
So yeah, we definitely wanted to preview that, and we had a lot to talk about in terms of recapping the round of 16 because, as you said, the drama was incredible. So yeah. I guess we'll start with probably the upset of the tournament, Djokovic losing to Musetti.
Which I guess is an upset, but like not really. Like when you think about it, Djokovic, he's been using Monte Carlo as a warm-up tournament now for a few years and hasn't done well. Obviously, like it still is an upset. He's, I mean, it's like in terms of odds-wise, it was an upset. And in terms of like Musetti had not done anything of note in since what, like Hamburg of last year when he beat Alcaraz. But yeah, like
it's funny because before we were like, oh, Musetti's wins this year, Gaston, Khachanov, end of list. And then now we're adding Djokovic to that list. Well, I guess you can add Kekmanovic and Nardi, but really? Like, it's just, whoa.
Kekmanovic is a real player. So, like, that was like, there was maybe a sign of coming around. And then, like, and now we have all of a sudden this. Now, that said, like, Djokovic was awful today.
He was.
Like, he was levels.
Seen him play.
Yeah, Musetti I didn't even think Musetti was that good.
He surprised me in terms of his discipline, though. Like, usually he goes.
Tactically, yes, he was more disciplined than what we've. Yeah.
Tactically, he was a little better. He was not going too big, too early in points. So, like, that impressed me, right?
But Djokovic was just making errors. He was just missing shots.
He got broken? He got broken like 7 times, six or 7 times.
I think 7.
7? That's insane.
Because it wasn't the second set 5. Like,
yeah,
wasn't it? 5. Well, didn't Djokovic hold serve 1 time out of 6 in the second set?
Then he held serve twice and
won the set 7-5. Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's incredible. But I mean, Musetti talent just oozes out of him. I mean, the game is so flashy. It's so fun to watch when he's playing well. It's incredible. I mean,
But I didn't even think like that. I thought he played like more disciplined today, and like he played decent, but it wasn't amazing. Like I didn't walk out of the match going, "Wow!" Like Musetti kicked his butt. I walked out of the match going, like Djokovic he just needs like he actually had said. So I told you this, and you didn't believe me. Yeah, last night I told you Djokovic actually. There was an article where Djokovic had said he needs more time to adjust on this surface.
Right.
So I think it's pretty clearly the case now. Like he needs more time. Like so he uses Monte Carlo basically as his clay warm up because, like, why would Djokovic want to go to Marrakech?
Oh yeah,
like, he's not going to Marrakech. Like
I agree with that. It's just a little bit puzzling because like back from I think 2012 to 2015, he came to this tournament and just wiped everyone's ass.
But you know what? I honestly wonder because like how has Djokovic done in Masters in 22? And I should like just know this, but it feels like Djokovic.
I mean, he won the ATP finals, right? He won.
That's different in my eyes. I'm talking about like
he got to the final of Paris.
Okay.
Right. He couldn't play Cincinnati or.
He won Rome.
Montreal.
Semis in Madrid, he lost to Alcaraz in a tiebreak. So, yeah, I mean, it's really just Monte Carlo he's really struggled at. But he's been using this as his warm-up. I mean, but yeah, I mean, he still is.
He's playing in Banja Luka next week. So physically, I think he's fine. It's
just he decided to take it. I mean, look, he barely. So to take effect, he has to adjust to clay. He played 1 tournament since Australia. He only played Dubai because he couldn't do the Indian Wells Miami because he couldn't get in the country. So
Yeah.
Like I think it's just rust.
I mean, now there's a trend of him losing early here, and I guess yes, he definitely. I don't know if he necessarily treats it as a warm-up tournament, but he needs time to get used to it. So I guess you bet him to beat Rome or to win Rome, and he'll be fine for the French. Like he's.
Well, I think that's the strategy for him. Like I don't think he like this is one of the few masters, I guess. Like this is a weird match. I mean, Indian Wells and Miami would be in the same bucket as this, in that like there's a long layoff between the Australian and the French, right? It's 4 months because they have to wait for weather to get better.
Right.
It's a 4-month layoff. So given that, like these three like Madrid and Rome, you're getting pretty close to the French, so you want to start getting into form. But if you're Djokovic and your main concern is slams, like you're still going to do well in Madrid and Rome and Toronto and Cincinnati, right? Because like those are close to slams. And you're still going to do well in Paris because like you have the offseason coming up anyway. So it's not like you're like worried about like, gunning it out. And like, yeah, I think the ATP finals is still a big tournament for him, but I'm just not sure that like this Indian Wells and Miami are like maybe as crucial for him as they used to be in his career. He's also a little older now, right? So like there's a benefit to like not taking them off, but like there's a benefit to not training to peak at these events. Right? Like he doesn't like if he's going to look to win slams, he doesn't need to be that close to peak for Indian Wells, Miami, or Monte Carlo. He needs to be close to peak for the other tournaments. Okay. And like he's not going to peak for every single tournament, right? Like it's just like, especially at age 36, 37, it's not going to happen. He has the full set of masters. So like in terms of his legacy, like no one's going to remember him
it doesn't matter,
after he retires. Right? No one's going to remember like he lost 3 years in a row in the first 2 rounds of Monte Carlo. Well,
yeah, I mean he's definitely didn't look happy about losing. Like he was kind of pissed off.
I think he's a competitor, right? Like this isn't like he goes in and tanks. This is about like, are you training to peak? Like you don't train to peak 12 months a year. Like that's not possible. Right. So this is more about like, is he training to peak here? Or is he? It's not even like using it as a warm up tournament. Like that's a bad word, right? Like warm up is so.
I hate that word. I hate when people say that.
Yeah, it's so far to the other end. It's not. It's not the right word. But I think the better phrase is his goal is not to peak here, and it's probably the least important. Like probably of the tournaments for him to peak at, this is probably the least important one for him to peak at in terms of the Masters. Because he still has Madrid, Rome.
If he loses early in, say, Rome, for example, then I would be like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah, I'm not even that worried about Madrid for him. But if he loses early in Madrid, Rome, and here, then I'd start to be a little more worried. I agree.
Right. But, yeah, I mean, see, like, a player like Musetti, he's been so bad all year that he's looking to peak at any tournament. Like if he peaks at a 250, that's amazing for him, right? Like
that's true of all but the top 5 guys on the tour, right? True. Because all the rest of these guys need points and need dollars,
right?
Like that's the thing. Like when you talk about Djokovic or Nadal or Federer the last 5 years of his career, like you like the money, the points don't matter. Like, we're not going to be remembering Djokovic because he racked up points.
Yeah, right. No, I agree with you on all those points. And, it shows that he needs time to get used to clay, for sure. That's probably why he's playing next week. He's playing a 250 in Bosnia.
Oh, I'm sure it's just another that is a warm-up tournament for him. Yes. Or that's a get-right tournament or, like, basically practice matches. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he does poorly there. Like I might look to fade him there.
Last year they had the same tournament in Belgrade, and he lost in the final.
That's right, and Belgrade is next year again, and I think they're moving it back on the schedule in front.
Okay. Right. So yeah, I mean, the thing about Musetti today is like, it's not that the performance was very impressive per se. It's just when you watch him and you watch him kind of play disciplined tennis, you see the talent that he has, right? And like if he got a little bit stronger,
at that point.
If he gets a little bit stronger physically, fitter, and also uses more discipline, like match in, match out, I mean, he could be, top 10 material easily.
Yeah.
It's just
I didn't realize Barcelona is next week also. I'm looking at the calendar.
That's crazy.
I didn't realize he chose to play I mean, I get why Djokovic is playing
He never
Banja
played
Luka instead of
Barcelona.
Barcelona. What?
He never plays Barcelona.
Well, it's also that Banja Luka's in Eastern Europe, so it's probably to support,
Right.
support Eastern Europe. He's a Serb.
Isn't there
obviously.
another tournament as well? Another 250? It's Munich or something?
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Okay.
Munich also.
So it's 3 tournaments next week. Jesus Christ. The tennis never stops.
It's hilarious because it's 2 like lame 250s that'll have terrible draws except for Djokovic and Banja Luka, and then a 500 that's like, I feel like Barcelona is one of the more prestigious 500s.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's a 48 player draw.
It is. Like if you have to think about like what the most like prestigious 500s are, it's this.
Rotterdam, maybe.
Maybe Rotterdam. Maybe Dubai. That's a 500, right?
Okay.
Maybe Beijing.
Beijing, yeah.
There's not too many. Washington.
Washington is decent. Tokyo.
Yeah.
But probably Barcelona's up there. And I think, are they all 48 player draws for the most part? Or some of them are 20?
No, most 500s are 32. I think Rotterdam was at 32.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Barcelona's like it's definitely the biggest clay. I mean, it's the only clay 500. Until we get to Hamburg, until we get to like the summer clay. I guess the Hamburg's the other 500. Yeah. But
that's probably the least. Well, no, that used to be a Masters 1000, so maybe that's also slightly higher.
But I feel like it doesn't get the same
because of the time it is in the calendar.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It really makes no sense where it's in the calendar. Like it gets a bunch of clay grinders, and everybody else is like getting ready to head to Americas for hardcourt.
Right. So Barcelona next week. I mean, just quickly, because we're on this subject. So Alcaraz will be playing. I think he's back. He's healthy again. Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Ruud, Sinner, Nori.
Yeah, I mean, it basically looks like a Masters 1000 draw. Pretty
much, yeah. So those are the guys playing that. Nadal, I think he hasn't announced it yet, but most likely not. That's what I've seen. Munich, you're going to have Holger Rune, Zverev, Fritz, Berrettini if he's healthy, Draper, Baez, Team.
See, that gets weak quick. You've got a couple guys there, but it gets weak quick.
And then in Banja Luka, you got Djokovic, Rublev, Koric. Well, who cares about Koric?
What's hilarious about that is it's like clearly the guys all not playing Barcelona are all playing it because of it's close to their home.
Right. Well,
all the Eastern Europeans go to Eastern Europe. All the Central Europeans go to Munich, and then all the Western Europeans go to Barcelona. It's like you basically go to your hometown, like
pretty much, yeah. So, I mean, Djokovic will be the 1 seed and Rublev will be the 2 seed, but Barcelona is by far the strongest draw.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you think Musetti has we'll get into his quarterfinal against Sinner, but do you think like he's off the fade list now for European clay?
No.
Because of this? No.
No, I mean, we have to see how much the book's taken into account. You know what I mean? So I guess I don't know how to answer that question. Like, do I feel better about him now with this tournament run? Yeah, because it kind of backs up the Nardi and Khachanov wins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he's a real player again. Like, supposedly he had a shoulder. I mean, we know he had a shoulder injury last year, so maybe he's finally recovered from that. Like, so I think there's a narrative there. So yeah, I feel better about him than I did before. But like, I think the books are going to give him more respect too. So I might still fade him.
It's a good point. That's true. Yeah, I would agree with what you said there. Moving on, let's move on to Fritz against Lehecka. So I think we called this match pretty accurately, right? Both of us.
We did. We did. I mean, the only thing I didn't call is Lehecka going away in the third. I think that's one thing we didn't call is that he would go away 6-1. But like, we both, I think, had the over 2.5 sets. We talked about that pretty extensively, it being a close match.
Right.
Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, we thought Fritz was the favorite. I just was a little bit more confident in Lehecka, right? So, which is why I hit the money line.
Yeah, and I stayed off I thought the money line was perfectly placed.
Yeah, you hit the plus 3.5, which still didn't hit.
I bought the game. And when the third set started, I was like, I'm so happy I bought that game. I've got 3 games, 6-3.
I know.
Just gotta sneak in there with a few holes. First, I don't really want to break serve. You can get up a break and coast. Lehecka got break point to start the third. I was like, "Oh, this is great. He's gonna break him." Like,
well, that's where that match turned. Is he missed an easy
pass? I mean, that was a basic pass,
and he was pissed, lost the game, immediately got broken. I was very close to hitting Lehecka to get broken in that next game, but I was too late because like my feed was like 2 points behind. So I couldn't hit that. But yeah, that was a very, very kind of lame way to go away. Like because you miss one easy forehand pass, like you just totally go away mentally. So but
it's disappointing from him.
Yeah, disappointing from him. I mean,
it's kind of interesting. He kind of went away against Rublev also. So this is like the second time we've seen that now in a pretty
you got to watch
span.
out with him.
Yeah, it's something to watch out. I mean, I just think he's not as good as we hyped him up to be. Like he still is really good. I think he's actually better than his rank, but I think he's like somewhere in the 20s. And there's a gap between him and the top 10 guys.
Did Fritz show you anything that you didn't know before? Like,
no, I mean, he's still right. Like every match with Fritz, he's going to compete to the level of his competition.
Right. Yeah, I feel like he's playing a little bit better on the clay this year, just in terms of like
he's playing a little better on the clay. Yeah,
the shot selection, like he's not like trying to pound every ball, like he's hitting a few more loopy balls, right, to stay in points.
I mean, well, Fritz is just playing better tennis in general. My concern is that like we hardly see, like he hardly played clay last year, so we just haven't seen a whole lot of him on the surface. So, like, yeah, he played better this match, but like it's such a small sample.
True. All right, well, we'll see tomorrow against Tsitispas. I'm very interested in what your take is on that match.
I guess moving on to some more drama for the day. We want to talk about Medvedev Zverev next. That was another. I was
going to save that for last, but we can
save that for last then. Okay.
I want to talk a little bit about
Ruud Berrettini. Berrettini didn't play.
Yeah,
he must be afraid of Ruud because like last time he played a set and then retired. This time he just said, you know what? I couldn't win a game last time. I'll take another 0 this time. Like, just get out of the tournament.
Take the court. We're not even going to make the fans wait.
Yeah,
we'll just let them go home
early today. Yeah, because it was the 4th match on, so it was nice of him to, rather than come out and make him sit around and watch bad tennis, just let him out early.
Okay, yeah.
Let him get over to Court Rainier to watch the highlight match of the day.
Yeah. Well, so he has some like oblique tear or something. I mean, he's had
I think it's a legit injury. I'm not like all teasing aside. Like we're just teasing because he's retired a couple times down the span against the same guy.
Yeah, against the same guy, right? Yeah.
But it's legit. I'm sure it's a legit injury. I'm not.
And
I'm not criticizing him for the retirement.
He's had a rough go of it. I mean, he got COVID at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Right? And then now is it the same injury as the Acapulco one, and he just re-aggravated it, or
I don't think so. I don't know. Because I thought the Acapulco one was leg he claimed.
Oh yeah. Well, he has to be careful because he's a bigger dude, right? He doesn't have a tennis body, right?
He's a bigger dude. He's a stockier dude, and he's just like not that good of an athlete. Like he does really well. Like mentally, he's incredible. But he's just like not that. Like he's not. I don't know. I just don't think he's that good of an athlete. He's not that explosive. He's not like. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think like his body is similar to Delpo's, for example, who had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, I mean Delpo was a lot taller.
Not really.
What was Delpo? Wasn't Delpo 6'7", 6'8"?
I think it was 6'7". Berrettini is like 6'5".
The poacher's only 6'6". Okay.
Just guys are in general bigger now. Like I feel like there's so many guys that are, 6'3".
I just feel like it's really hard to succeed now. I didn't realize Berrettini was 6'5". Okay. Yeah. So that's fair then. I guess they are pretty similar body then. You just don't think because he doesn't have as big. I mean, obviously, like Del Potro's forehand was legendary. So.
Yeah, and Berrettini's forehand is big. It's not quite as big as Delpo's. I mean, whose is, right?
That's my point. Like
I don't think anyone's is, right? But
and because he had that big flat forehand, like Del Potro used his height better than Berrettini uses his height.
I would agree with that. But I just think that like Berrettini has to be careful because like now
I agree with that.
He's following that path where he's had a lot of injuries and like he has a similar body type to a guy like Delpo whose body type is not meant for tennis, really.
To be fair, a lot of guys, right? Like a lot of guys with a lot of different body types have had injuries that derail their career. It's just like it's really hard to be a pro tennis player.
It is, but some guy like Nadal is a very bulky, stocky guy. He can't.
And he's been hurt his whole career.
Exactly, and he's managed it incredibly well. Won 22 majors, but like someone like Medvedev, for example, right? He puts very little weight on his joints. Like he has a tennis body. He's very lean.
I hear you. I agree with all your points.
So I just think Berrettini has to be careful. I agree.
Well, he's showing
his career.
I agree with you.
No, so yeah, but advantage Rune. I mean, we'll get into his match against Medvedev, but I don't know how much the fact that Medvedev played 3 hours late into the night, will impact him, and if that's advantage.
Don't tell the secret, man. You're giving away the spoiler.
Okay. All right. Well,
the followers might not know.
You think that's going to change the lines? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. We'll find us watching.
The match is in.
And if I whisper, they
not too far away, so I don't think it's gonna. I don't think also we're big enough. I don't think we have 200 followers now and it's going up, but I don't think that's big enough to impact line movement quite yet. So, all right. Next match. What else was there? Oh, Hubie and Sinner.
Yeah, weird match. I mean, not weird match. Honestly, like first set was actually really even. Hubie got one break, saved 4 break points. Sinner went 0 for 4. Hubie went 1 for 6 on break points. That was kind of the difference. Really sucked because I had the over 9.5 for the first set at -150.
Yeah.
And that missed, which was, just disappointing because I don't know. Like I felt really good about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the only way that was gonna miss is if you had a one kind of like even set one lucky break situation where you just got the short end of the stick, which is exactly what happened. So that stunk. But
he was really close to just winning this in straights.
Well, he had match point in the tiebreak, but the second set was also pretty even. Like the first 2 sets were pretty even, and then Hubie just ran out of gas in the third.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't see much of it. I didn't wake up till mid-second set, so was it like Sinner was kind of just missing?
Well, I mean, I saw the second set. Like, I didn't see the first set either. I saw the second set. Like, I mean, I don't know. Hubie's serve is big, right? It's hard to break Hubie, like no matter what the surface is, right? And I think that was just like, right? Like, it's not like Sinner was getting broken all over the place. He got broken once in the match,
right? Yeah,
right. And like,
yeah.
And he was getting, I don't know, he was a little bit better than I thought than Hurkacz in the second set, tiebreak aside. Like neither guy really, I don't even know if either guy generated a break point in the second set. Sinner might have generated one at 5-6 or something. I don't remember. But yeah, and then the tiebreak, I mean, Hubie, I think, had a mini break lead at one point, but then Sinner got it back pretty quick. It was, it was Hubie. Like serve was a big deal, right? It's hard to get points on Hubie's serve.
Yeah, I think Hubie might have the best serve in men's tennis right now.
I think I put Kyrgios. Kyrgios, I think, actually has the better serve,
right,
when he's playing.
Yeah.
But Kyrgios is a part-time player, so I don't know. FAA serve is pretty darn good too.
Who?
FAA. And Isner's still there. He just has nothing to back it up.
Well, so I think Hubie's is better because I think Hubie's second serve is better than FAA's. I think FAA struggles with the second serve. So I think...
Yeah, you get that one. But I think Isner is still a better server than either of them, actually.
Yeah.
He just has nothing to back it up.
Nothing to back it up. And Hubie honestly doesn't back it up with much either. He just doesn't miss after the serve.
Well, that's good enough, though. And he's a better athlete than Isner, right? Like, Isner has nothing. Like, you get the serve back and Isner's in trouble. Maybe not. You get the serve back and you make Isner play 3 balls and run around and he's in trouble. Hubie can run around. He'll make some shots. He'll do some interesting stuff.
It's impressive. Like, this match to me proved that hitting the over 22.5 against anyone in the world is worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This match, because this one I was a little bit hesitant because Sinner was playing so well. He's been amazing so far.
Yeah, I went the over 12.5 on Sinner instead, and I won, and I was happy with it. Which I think was, I mean, I still don't think it was a bad play. Like, look, the match was like basically dead even for 2 sets.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it went 3, I think the take on the over is a good take. I think the take on, I mean, just every Hubie match is going to be close because of how he plays.
And it's crazy that it doesn't even matter who he plays. Like, he could play a Medvedev. He's played Medvedev tough on hard court before.
Yeah. He can play anybody. He's played Alcaraz tough on hard court.
Yeah.
Like, he can play anybody tough on hard court.
I know. It's actually quite impressive. But then
he also plays pretty good net. He actually has a pretty good net game too when he gets in. He doesn't get in very often because he doesn't really hit the ball very hard. But when he uses his height well, like at the net, he's he's a really good player.
Yeah. Yeah. And he actually hits trick shots really well. Like,
he does.
You don't think of him as a guy that could hit trick shots really well, but he does.
His lob is actually really good. Like, for a guy who's like 6'5", like, he lobs really well. Like, it's very weird.
It is. But
it has to be such a weird matchup because, like, you're playing a guy who, like, serve. It's then, like, serve, push, lob, drop shot. It's, like, very weird. Like,
it is weird.
You're expecting serve forehand. No. It's serve lob. Like,
yeah, it is weird. But he's getting my respect, to be honest.
He's had my respect for years now. Like, I mean, he's just a hard guy to bet is the problem. With the exception of overs. I'm just gonna blindly play the over 22.5 when he's playing. If he's healthy and in decent form, I'm gonna do that. I mean, he proved that today to me because I was nervous playing that. But to be fair, if Hubie wins that tiebreak, it doesn't go over 22.5. You land on 22. Which is what sucks because Hubie over-unders are always a little higher because the books know it. Like, if we know it, the books know it. But for today, they put it at 21.5. That was weird. But I think that's because of how good Sinner's been. Yeah. That the fear was like you have a 7-5, 6-3 or a 7-6, 6. But honestly, if he played a Djokovic or Alcaraz, I think it would be 21.5 too. Like, I think the books would put it there. True. Right. And I think I would pick the over there. Yeah, I would hit the over there too. Yeah. Good take. So I'm aligned. All right. And then is there any other match besides Rublev Khachanov? So Khachanov's just so limited, man. I mean, the first set was dead even. It looked like Khachanov got a little fatigued actually in the second set. I watched this match. But Khachanov got a little fatigued in the second set, which is rare for him. It also got really gusty at one point in the second set, and Khachanov had no idea how to deal with it. That's true too. Like, yeah. And it's weird because, like, Khachanov, I mean, he beat Fokina easily and he beat Ivashka. Like, there was no reason for him to get a little slightly, like, tired against Rublev. Like, other than the fact that Rublev's just hitting big ball after big ball. But to me, complete fade against any top 10 player. That's my overall takeaway. You're not impressed with the win over Tsitispas in Miami? No, yeah. Well, we won a lot of money on that, but that's because Tsitispas was not healthy, obviously. Well, we know. I know. Obviously, I'm kidding on that. Yeah. But if a top 10 player is healthy and playing Khachanov, it doesn't matter what Khachanov did prior. I'm fading him against that top 10 player because unless there's something like the Tsitispas injury would be the one exception. That's the one exception. But other than that, he's been so bad. He's just so limited. Yeah. I mean, I had the over 3 sets here. I think it was a good bet. Like, the first set was, again, like, pretty close to dead even. Rublev was a little bit better in the tiebreak. So it could have gotten to play. The 3-set line's always plus money. So, like, if you have a close set, like, it means that the 3-set line was a good bet. So, and then I had the Rublev over 12.5, which I thought was a good bet because I figured Khachanov would at least keep, like, Khachanov does compete. So I thought he'd keep 1 set competitive. So I lost money there 1-1, but I was happy with my bets. I would say so. I mean, the books put it at basically a total pick 'em, right? And I felt like more people on Twitter were on the Khachanov side, to be honest. Which I wasn't. I was like, I thought Rublev was, I think I said on the pod, like, I thought Rublev was like the slightest of favorites, but not enough to lay -1, not enough to lay the juice.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I had the same bets as you, and I went 1-1 as well. But yeah, I mean, and now Rublev gets Jan-Lennard Struff, who put a beat down on Casper Ruud. This was very disappointing because I had a lot of Ruud futures, and but just like a bad performance. Like it really should have been 1-2. Like in the second set, Struff was up 5-2, and he got tight.
In serve, right? Was he up 5-2 double break?
Double break.
Yeah.
Double break.
Yeah.
And Ruud, he clawed back in, played a little better. Struff got tight, and then the tiebreak was really close, but Struff was just a little better. He was dictating.
Well, so here's the interesting part of that match. I didn't see much of the match. I think I saw the tiebreak, and that was it. The second set tiebreak. This was the early morning 5 a.m. start time in New Jersey here, so it was not. I was not getting up for that. Yeah, I think the interesting part of this was Struff came to net 37 times.
Wow.
And I don't think he was particularly good up there. I think it was like 23 of 37. I'm going to look up the stat now, but he came to net 30. Yeah, he came to net 37 times. I don't remember how many he won. 36 times. 23 out of 36. Which isn't amazing, but he's still winning 64% of the points. Which is
he got up there that much in a
that's what's impressive. That's what's
impressive he was, and
that's my point. That's what's impressive about it. It's not the 64%; it's the 36.
Right. Yeah. No, Ruud was just he didn't have any sting on his shots, and when he would hit that loopy forehand that he loves to hit, it would just sit up in Struff's strike zone, and he would just blast it. It was very what is this? And Ruud is not like Djokovic, who can peak for Madrid and Rome, and he'll use that to make a French Open final. No, he needs to build up. This is not a good sign for him. A guy that's
I mean, we said it, right? He's back, but not all the way back. This isn't it's surprising, but I don't know.
Well, we've discussed it before. I've always thought that his ranking was totally inflated by easy draws and winning 250s and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess the question is what I always come back with is the narrative makes sense, but how inflated is it? Because
well, this year is proving that.
But is he not a top 10 player? Are there 10 guys better than him?
He hovers in the Tommy Paul range.
Oh, you think he's that low then? Okay.
I
you got him in the Paul Khachanov tier?
Yeah, maybe slightly above them, but I think right now he's definitely below the Fritz tier.
Well, yeah, we discussed it before, right? He's not in the top, in the top 6.
I would put him below.
But after that,
below Holger Rune as well.
And I put him below Rublev probably.
Yeah. So, what's his ranking? Still 4 in the world or 5 in the world?
Yeah, he still has 2 finals.
2 slam finals. But again, if you look at the draws that he had to get there, they were weak.
I agree.
So he also coasted to a Miami final last year, and he has no titles besides 250s.
Right, I think he only has 250. He only has 250. I don't think he has a single title above a 250.
Right. And he has said that he's going to play less 250s and try to focus more on the bigger events. But if he's not winning the other events, where do you get the points?
Well, no, because the thing is this round. So what does he get for the run here? Gets 90. So it's the same as a semi of a 250. So it's not he's getting nothing. 90 points is it's not really meaningful for Ruud, but it's not nothing.
Well, if he loses third round of the French and third round of the US Open, he might be out of the top 30.
I don't think that's true, but because he still has all the 250 titles that'll keep him they'll keep him in the top 20. But he'll drop pretty far. But like pretty far, but probably somewhere in like the low teens. But I also don't think he's going to lose in the third round of those events. Like, I think he still is like on clay. I think he's still a top 10 guy in the world.
Okay, at the French, I have a little more confidence, but not the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. There. He probably falls, but I think he can make a fourth. I think he can easily make a quarter at the French.
Gotta see.
He'll be a top. He'll be a good seed.
Yeah, you gotta see his draw, but yeah. I mean, disappointing considering I had a lot of futures on him, but I don't think he's a guy in a big event I should be betting futures on just because like he could lose to anyone.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that was like my takeaway there. And then that takes us to the last match of the night, the Medvedev.
Oh, we didn't talk Steph yet, man.
Oh yeah, Steph and Jarry. That's right. I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
So I guess watching this match, I'll believe Tsitsipas now finally that his shoulder is fine and he's 100%.
He dominated. He won 42% of his return points on Jarry's serve. He generated 10 breakpoint opportunities. My other takeaway in this is that Jarry's not as good as what he showed in South America.
No.
Like that was a home. Like I'll believe him. Like next year, I think he's a South America guy. Like that golden swing.
Well, he also needs the warmer conditions, right? And I think he also got unlucky playing Tsitsipas in the windiest part of the day today.
He did.
So I think when he has conditions like that, when it's cold and windy, like it's just going to be very, very tough for him.
Yeah.
You know,
which is again would lend to why the golden swing is the place for him.
Right. But if he played like, you know, for example, if he played this match in Madrid, I think it would be slightly different. Right. Just because of the altitude. So. Also, that stadium is like kind of like closed off, so there's less wind. It's kind of.
But I don't know though, because like if it was all about the serve, then wouldn't the if it was all about the serve, then he would do better on like other surfaces, and he doesn't.
It's true. Yeah, it's kind of puzzling to me that a guy like with you know like that uses like a big serve and a big forehand to win points.
I think it's what he's used. I think he's used to South American clay courts and South American conditions. Like, doesn't he play most of his tournaments on the? Doesn't he like specialize in playing the South American challengers? Or wasn't he doing that back when he was a challenger ranking of like because he was in like the low hundreds to high 200s for a long time, and I feel like at that time
they're not challengers every week in South America. Like if he wants to be a professional tennis player, he's going to have to travel elsewhere and play. He can't just stay in Chile and Argentina. Like it's called
the like 8 challengers, don't they? Don't they play like multiple challengers?
They have, you know, they have challengers there throughout the year, but not every week.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess but I don't know. Like it's hard to say because I'm trying to go back to like 21, back when he wasn't. I guess you're right. I guess he did go over to Europe for a while. Like he plays a lot of clay challenges because he does come over to the European clay as well.
He'll play the summer swing.
Like, what?
He'll play the European summer clay.
He'll play the summer clay, but then back in 21, back when his ranking was low, that he was a challenger player, he then went back and played the South American Challenger Swing in the winter. Because they have a bunch of tournaments there September to December. So like I think that like obviously, if he can qualify for ATP tournaments, he'll try his hand in the ATP tournaments.
Mm-hmm. But
like, if he can't, I think he'll go back and like I think like that's his place, man, is to play the South American challengers and just beat up on guys like Ugo Carbelli and Thiago Alves.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I think that he just caught fire in Rio and Santiago, and that's not his true level. You know,
I mean, I think it's something in between. Right? I think like those. Like that's also the place for him. Like he might catch fire again there next year.
Yeah, he might. Okay, that's the place for him. I agree with you, but I just think like just because you play well in one place doesn't mean that that's your true level.
No, well, yeah, as a tennis player, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, look, like that's one surface too, right? It's not the most predominant surface. The most predominant surface is hard court. So like, but I mean, really the more important take is Steph. I thought Steph looked really good.
Okay.
But it's hard to say because like again, like Jarry like wasn't that good. So it was like kind of it was kind of cruise control.
Yeah. And then also I don't really have too many takeaways on Steph because he played 3 games against Bonsai and then this match against Jarry. So like no one that could really test him in rallies. Like that's why that Fritz match is very, very fascinating. Like, and where that line is going to be because like, I don't know how Tsitsipas is going to handle long rallies, which they're going to be against Fritz. Fritz is going to make you hit a ton of balls.
Yeah.
So, So, and then the last match, Medvedev Zverev. So I think we called this perfectly as well, right? We hit the over 12.
Well, yeah. So thank you for talking me off the money line because like literally you talk me off the money line by reminding me that, like Fritz could choke or Zverev could choke. Not that he will choke because he doesn't always choke. Like sometimes he like wakes up and is super clutch, but it's always a variable in there that he could just choke it away. See U.S. Open 2020. There's been several times. See almost any best of 5. Like there's been plenty of times when Zverev has been in a winning position and choked it away.
U.S. Open against Team.
Well, that's what I was saying about the 2020, the 2020 final, right? So,
what are some other examples?
He was up 2-1 against Djokovic. Great match, and it's not like he played badly, but he couldn't get the job done against Djokovic. U.S. Open, like there's been plenty of examples of best of 5. It's harder to find them best of 3 because he's been better in best of 3. But yeah.
I mean, he didn't. So Medvedev did play well on those games that he was down a break and serving for the match. So Medvedev did play very good tennis, but like you could see Zverev like tighten up. Like he just got extremely tentative.
You got really well. I think the best example was a 7-6 point. So my take is gonna be a little different than yours here because like my initial take was the same as yours. Like I watched that match and I went, wow, Zverev. And I think it's because that 7-6 point will just like play in my head forever. Because it was like one of the most obvious, like even when Medvedev hit a winner, it's one of the weakest points I've ever seen a professional tennis player play.
Just the
like he was hitting balls like
but also the other match point in the tiebreak, it was a weak second serve by Medvedev, and he just like hit this weak backhand, his best shot, 20 feet long. Did you see that one? I mean, that was another.
I did, but I guess that was I guess that was a return, and like I don't know, like. Yeah, I guess I didn't think it was as weak of a second serve as you did. I was like, okay, that was a decent second serve. Like, you really shouldn't miss it 20 feet long, but it was tight, but it was like.
Okay, you're talking about that next point where he hit like 3 short balls. Medvedev hit a backhand down the line, and that totally turned the point around. That point.
Yeah, but like Zverev hit like 3 or 4 short balls, and just like was he like it was just bad. Like it was just like so tentative. But I guess on the flip side of that. The second set was a weird set. Neither guy played well in the second set. Zverev was dominant in the first set. Dominant. He won half the points. He won 50% of points on Medvedev's serve. It was 6-3. It could have been worse.
Medvedev's forehand was also way off in the first.
It was way off. Medvedev was way off. Medvedev played horrendous the first set. Yeah. Didn't play that much better in the second set, but I thought Zverev's level dipped significantly. I thought the second set was just like a bad set for both of them.
Yeah.
And then I thought they both picked up in the third set, especially Medvedev. And Zverev actually had a couple really tough holds. One at the 4-3 holds like a 20-something point game.
Yeah.
So like Medvedev actually could have won that second set a lot easier too, even though Zverev served for it. And I thought both games that Medvedev broke, it was a lot him actually picking up his game and Zverev getting like maybe 10% tentative. Right, but it wasn't.
I think it's a little more than that. He wasn't going after the ball. He was allowing Medvedev to dictate the points, and Medvedev was very like proactive in terms of knowing that, right? And like he knew he had to step it up, and he wasn't missing. But Zverev wasn't doing anything to like counteract that.
Yeah, I mean we agree on that, right? Like that's why I say it was 10% tentative. I guess like you could argue was he 20% or 10%? But like he was somewhat tentative, but Medvedev also stepped up, and he wasn't as tentative as he was on those the tiebreak match points. Like the tiebreak match points were like that wasn't tentative. That was like terrible. Yeah, I mean, like I don't even know what to say. Like I guess like at least the 7-6 point he didn't miss. So it was almost worse than a miss.
The fact that you served for the match twice, you got broken both times. To me, like when you get to a third set tiebreak, I know you still have something to lose, but like whatever you did in those games and you like play tentative points, do the opposite, because whatever you did there didn't work. Like that didn't click in Zverev's mind.
I mean, I don't think it was a matter of like tactical. It was just a matter of like he stopped moving too, right? Like he just stopped moving his feet like onto shots. Like it was just like he just got nervous.
I'd rather him like slap a forehand than do what he did. You know, like just try to slap a ball in the court.
I actually agree with that on the 7-6 point. Yeah, like the 7, like you're never winning that point against Dylan Medvedev doing that. You're never. Not. Like you have a better chance just smacking a ball randomly and praying it hits the line.
Then he could have played those points with the pole that Medvedev dropped and still would have, you know, and the result would have been the same.
Yeah, yeah. That was awesome, by the way. Like that was one of like the. Like I love Medvedev's like when Medvedev gets mad, it's hilarious because he's so unique.
He is
like
so unique.
his like reactions are so unique, and his like either his lines are funny or like going over just like softly dropping the pole and making somebody go pick it up is just like it's unprofessional and it's clownish, but at least it's unique.
Well, he takes a lot of pride in being genuine and just being himself. You know, I think he takes a lot of pride in that. Like in the interview, he's like, "Yes, Zverev should have done better." Like no one says that, but that's the reality, right? That Zverev should have done better, you know. But I like Medvedev like for that. I don't like the one thing I don't like is the shushing with the crowd. Like that comes with the territory, you know. Like I'm not going to play if the crowd is like booing me. Like no, I don't. Like I think he's above that, you know.
You know what? It's I don't know.
The dropping the pole and the banter with the chair umpire, I love that because like he doesn't smash rackets because I think it's boring. Like
yeah, exactly. Like everybody's like it's not like you don't have to come up with anything to smash a racket. Like anybody can go smash a racket,
and he'll just get a warning and they'll move on. But like at least this is fun. Like he gets under their skin and like you know like he loves that shit.
Yeah. I agree. I just like it because it's unique and like it's fun to see like what unique thing will he do that's like truly different? Like he's not just gonna come up with a new insult for the umpire. Like it's like a lot of guys do like they're like Kyrgios does like different stuff, but it's not like it doesn't feel different. It just feels like clownish. Like the only thing he did that was different and funny was when he ran across the net and like smashed the overhead illegally. Like that was funny and different, but like outside of that, it's just like insults or like racket smashes, which like aren't like unique. Whereas like Medvedev is like unique stuff.
Yeah. In terms of his tennis though, like, you know, I think my point about him feeling invincible kind of now with all this confidence that he's built up, I actually think that that's a real thing.
Maybe I feel with him, it's like surviving. He's like the ultimate survive and advance guy. Like if this was like the NCAA tournament, you'd make him like a 7 seed because like the eye test would just be like, this guy sucks. He wins every game in overtime for like 2 points. But like tennis doesn't have a committee. Like tennis, you get ranking based on points and you win points based on matches. It's a really good system. Like if it was UFC, like Medvedev would be like ranked number 8. He would never get title fights. Like, but like this isn't UFC, and it's part of why tennis is awesome because they have like a real. It's that tennis and golf are like individual sports with a real league, which is cool because it's like a real. You know, it's like it's objective, or at least as close to objective as you can be.
Right.
So, but my point is, I agree. Like there is his mental toughness and his physical toughness go a long way, and he gets a lot of mileage out of that.
Yeah, and I think it's the mental tenacity which he's always had, combined with the confidence that he's built over the last couple of months, and that makes it very, very tough to get over the hump, unless you play an incredible match like Alcaraz did. You know, like. That's what makes this Ruud Medvedev match extremely intriguing tomorrow.
So let's go to the quarters then. So let's go to it.
It's a good segue.
So first match of the morning, right? is
Rublev versus Struff.
Rublev versus Struff. The line, I looked at this, the line is Rublev laying 3.5.
Share the screen. Rublev laying 3.5.
Yeah.
I think that's the appropriate line.
It's the exact. This is when I played Guess the Line with myself on this match, I came up with that exact line.
Yeah. Now, do you think, like, the thing with Struff, like, how do guys usually back up a good performance? You know, like a big win, like what he had against Casper Ruud today.
Well, it's tough because like that's just not his true level, right? He's just not like he's not a top 50 player. So, like it's unlikely he's going to be Rublev, right? Because like he's not a top 50 player. Like now, but here's the interesting part of this: the head-to-head here is 2-2.
Interesting. How recently have they
actually
played?
Like 2016, 2017, but since 2018, it's 2-2. Struff got him in 2018 St. Petersburg and 2 years ago at the French.
Okay.
6-4, 7-6 in St. Petersburg, 4 sets at the French. Rublev got him at the ATP Cup in 21 and in Rome. 3 sets in both matches.
And how recently was the ATP Cup one? Was that
21? They haven't played since 21, but I mean, Rublev's been a top player since 21. I don't honestly, Rublev hasn't changed in like 40 years.
I know.
Which is part of the disappointment with him, but
that is interesting you say that because I was actually going to play the Rublev straight set line. And now I'm actually leaning toward the 3-set line.
I think if you're going to play something here, I don't think there's this is a match. I have a Rublev futures at 28-1. I don't think I'm going to play anything. I'm just going to watch the match as a fan and ride the futures because I can't find a single line here I like. Because my concern is exactly what you said, Manny. Like Rublev, there's 2 concerns here for me. One, Rublev eats these guys for breakfast. He is. I looked it up before. His record is something insane in the past year on versus so versus guys outside the top 50, and I would put Struff solidly in that category. Rublev is 23-4 in the past year.
And what are his 4 losses?
Khachanov and Adelaide, which you understand. I mean, that's Adelaide where Khachanov is like it is actually above top 50.
Yeah.
Lehecka in Doha. Again, like last when Lehecka was playing really well and like, probably above top 50.
Right.
Nishioka in Washington when Nishioka made that run to the finals.
Yeah, but that doesn't translate to Struff, so that's kind of irrelevant to me.
And Khachanov in Rome, which is like the one weird, just terrible match he played against a non-top 50 guy this year, in the past year.
Yeah, I see.
But I think Struff matches up like he's kind of similar to Rublev.
Yeah, like I'm curious to see how Rublev does against guys out of the top. Like, I would say Struff is playing slightly above top 50 tennis right now.
You think so?
In that area between.
I don't know. He lost to Gaston last week in Marrakech.
That is true. That is true. But like, how does Rublev play against like big serve, big serve +1 guys? I
mean, so Khachanov would qualify as that,
yeah,
right?
Like a guy like that, right?
The only match we have is there in Adelaide. I guess Wolf would be that kind of.
Yeah.
And he whipped Wolf 2-3 in Washington.
Okay.
Draper would kind of be that. Not exactly, but kind of.
Exactly. Okay. But yeah, you could put him in that category.
He whipped Draper 4-2. And that's really all. And then he beat him again in Madrid Masters in 3 sets. I really have a hard time. But like the narrative makes sense, and you got a 2-2 head-to-head there. That's not like that's like a sample greater than 0. And they're all close matches.
But Struff was top 30 at one point, right? He's below that level currently. He's working his way back, but he's not like totally there yet.
Yeah, but he's played 70 matches in the past year. It's not like due to injury that he's not in the top 100, right? It's due to, you know,
he goes through periods where he just misses a ton of balls. Like that, you know, that period from like 5-2 to 5-all where he lost 2 breaks. Like he just started missing easy volleys and easy forehands. Like he goes through those lulls. And if he does that against Rublev, that's going to be trouble. Yeah, I have a futures of Rublev to win the quarter at 4-1, I believe. Let me see. Rublev to win 4.5-1. I mean, I like that. I think I might play Rublev in straights.
The problem is I didn't love the line. I think it's like basically even money.
Plus 105, plus 110, plus 111. Plus 111 is the best. Yeah, you know, a part of me when these guys like these qualifiers kind of get to a certain point in the tournament, they kind of
so well, here's the other
right?
piece of this, Manny, is that he's played 5 matches in the past 6 days to get here.
If this match was like, say, in the second round or even the round of 16, I'd be a little bit more inclined to, you know, lean towards Struff. But the fact that this is the quarter, I feel like this is it for him. You know, he already beat 1 top 10 guys. He really going to beat 2 top 10 guys in the same tournament? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But we really haven't seen, like, the only time we've seen, so this is Struff's second Masters quarter in his career. The other time he got the crap kicked out of him by Djokovic, 3-1 in Cincinnati. And that was the only other time in Struff's career that he's really made a run like that, where like he beat a bunch of top, you know, he beat a couple top guys in a row. He's had a good week this week. Like he beat Ramos, which is a real win on clay. Although Ramos has been terrible, but it still is like it still is a real win. I mean, Team Or on clay is not amazing, but again, it's a win over a top 20 guy. And then beating Ruud on clay is a great win, right? I know Ruud played like crap, but it still was a great win.
Yeah, I get the head-to-head, but like, and like that was when you said that was pushing me more towards the 3-set line, but I just think he's gonna like hit a plateau at some point, and like
if you're gonna play it, this is the way to play it.
I think
it's the only play on this match that I can see hitting. And I'm still debating as to whether or not I want to hit it. But this is the only play I'm even considering. It's either this or stay away.
I actually like under 11.5 games for Struff.
Why would you take that one? You can just take the set. Take the 2-0 at plus 111.
Because that's 6 and 5.
But then Rublev still wins in straights and you're good. Just take the plus 111 for the straights.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Do you like any of these props?
No. No, because I don't have a good feel for this match. Like, the problem is I could see this match being close, and I could also see it being a runaway.
Do you view Struff as like a bad version of Khachanov? Is that like a good way to describe him?
No, because like he's more aggressive. Like Khachanov came to net 4 times today. Struff came in 37.
Okay, that's fair.
And Khachanov, we know why Khachanov's not coming to the net.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know if Khachanov is coming to the net in doubles even.
Well, he has that extreme grip on the forehand, so I think it's like a lot of work for him to like change it to a continental.
It is to get to continental. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, we make fun of him. It makes sense given the way he plays. But
yeah,
like,
it does. It does.
But yeah, I mean, Struff is a more power-oriented guy, right?
Yeah, but he misses more from the back of the court.
Yeah,
Khachanov, which is the difference. So okay, all right. Let's. I'm gonna play the 2 set to love.
The other line I think might actually be playable here as a parlay piece is just the Rublev money line. Like the Rublev money line at minus 240 doesn't look terrible to me actually.
Yeah, in the parlay piece, it's good. All right. Next match is gonna be Fritz and Tsitispas. So when we were texting earlier, I asked you, what do you think the line is going to be? And you said it would be like 1.5 or 2, right? I thought it would be 3 even. It's 3.5.
But it's close to 3. I mean, you're right on this. It's close to 3.
Close to 3.
The more I thought about it, I think this is the perfect line. And here's why. Granted, like Fritz doesn't play a whole lot of clay. But here's a trivia question for you. Fritz has 2 wins on clay versus the top 20 players in his career. They're against the same player. Who is that player?
Ooh, good question. When was the last time he beat him? What year?
It was a couple years ago. It wasn't that recent. But I'll look it up for you. $2018.
I'm sure we're
Hint, it's kind of a trick question.
It's a trick question?
Hey, the guy was in the top 20, but it's not like really it's a funny answer.
Is it Isner?
No, it's Jack Sock.
Oh.
So literally he's beaten Jack Sock twice in 2018 on clay. That's the only opponent he's ever taken a set against in the top 20 on clay.
Okay.
Like he's just not, but he looked a little better against Lehecka today on clay. But like, do I suddenly believe because of one match he's this like clay player?
Yeah, I hear you. It's funny you say that, and I'm still thinking about going the Fritz way here. I know, it's
Every dog has its day. Every dog has its day. This may be the day.
I might have to stop fading Tsitispas here in Monte Carlo. He seems to just love this tournament. Fritz to win a set minus 135. I don't really like that.
And if you don't like him to win a set, how can you like the games?
Well, I don't like the price, and I think the games is the same price, right? Minus 130.
That's what I'm saying. So if you don't like, and like, do you feel better about taking 3.5 games in a set? Like on clay, that's really thin.
Well, then I'd prefer the 3-set line at plus 135. Are you going Tsitispas here?
I'm going Tsitispas in the straights, and I think my best line there is the plus 115 on the set exacta, which is great because it's like plus 105 if you take Tsitispas. Yeah, it's plus 105 if you take Tsitispas minus 1.5 sets.
Yeah.
So if you take him 2-0, it's plus 107. But if you win the first and second set, it's plus 115. It's much more difficult to win the first and second set than it is to win 2 consecutive sets.
Bovada, if you're hiring We're available.
For real, man. Like, for real.
Yeah. Uh
So I think plus 115 is pretty good on the straight set line here with Tsitsipas. Given that he's the two-time defending champ here, given that Fritz, like I said, he's never won a set versus a top 20 player on clay, I don't count Jack Sock as a top 20 player on clay.
yeah.
So
Oh man. I
like,
gotta
what
think.
makes you think Fritz can beat Tsitsipas here or can win a set off Tsitsipas?
So I don't take stock in Tsitsipas's wins this event so far. I think like if they were playing on a hard court, I would take Fritz right now. Just because of his ball striking, rally tolerance, and I think he can pin Tsitsipas to the backhand side. And I think that pattern will favor Fritz. So, like, if they were playing on a hard court, I would take Fritz. So, if you just put the same match on a clay court, does that really equate to a 3.5 game spread? That's where my mind is at. That's why I'm leaning Fritz here.
So I would, so I wouldn't. Like, I think Tsitsipas looks better. I'm not taking stock in, like, I'm not taking stock in beating these guys. I'm taking stock only in beating these guys, in beating Jarry, the way he beat Jarry down pretty good today, because, like, it shows he's probably healthy. Right? He says he's healthy. He's now played a good match, which tells you he's healthy. Like, doesn't tell you he's in form, just tells you he's healthy. And he loves clay, man. Like, it's weird given his play style, but he's really good on the clay. And it gives his back, like, ironically, his backhand is better on clay than anywhere else because he has more time.
You like if they played this match on a hard court, would you favor Fritz? Pick him?
A slow hard court, yes. A fast hard court, no way. If this is on Australian hard, no way. If this is on
like Indian
Wells,
is on
hard, like Indian Wells hard or Miami hard, it's probably a pick 'em. And that's how I get to Tsitsipas in straights here. Is because I think that's kind of my logic is like.
So on a slow hard court, it's 3 sets probably, but so on a clay court, it's straight sets.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I think it's basically a pick 'em on if Fritz gets to pick the surface, it's a pick 'em. If it's like the most neutral court in the world, like if it's at the U.S. Open, which is probably like pretty close to a neutralish court, it's probably like a 2 game spread, 2.5, like maybe 3, probably 3, maybe, who knows. And given it's on Tsitsipas just loves this place, man. Like, he's,
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's baked into the line too. Like, I think the games line is properly set. I'm just basically taking the 10 cents off of Bovada's stupidity.
Yeah, I might. You're talking me into it. I wish the money line here was like plus 250, plus 275, because then I would take a crack at it. 200 is just not good enough. I really want to.
I actually don't. Yeah.
Really want to play something here.
It's tough, right? These matches are tough, man.
Yeah, these guys don't have a head-to-head, right? They never played?
No, correct. It's their first time playing. Yep. So it's an interesting matchup to see. We'll get, like, as a fan, it'll be cool because we'll get to see this matchup for the first time. Oh, that's a lie, actually. They've played 3 times. 22 Australia, Tsitsipas in 5. I'm surprised we forgot about that match. Harris 19, Tsitsipas in straights, and then Laver Cup. So not much in my eyes. Like the only one of those matches that's really relevant is last year's AO, and it's like a
Mhm.
1-match sample size, right? And even then, Tsitsipas is playing a lot better now than he was even then.
Yeah. I gotta think about this one a little more. You're getting me closer to the straight sets, but I'm not all the way there yet. I gotta look at those head-to-heads, maybe watch some highlights. So, all right, next match is Medvedev against Rune. I'm actually surprised that this match is not the fourth match on. I think that's unfair to Medvedev, to be honest.
I agree.
I don't like the scheduling, but that's besides the point. Rune is a slight favorite. So this matchup has a lot of like variables, I feel like. Rune hasn't played, right, since the second round.
Yep.
He had the day off completely. Medvedev had to wait till late in the night to play a 3-hour, 3-set match against Zverev. So does that extra layoff hurt Rune and help Medvedev because of increased rhythm, or is Medvedev going to be like slightly fatigued?
It's also like this run, right? Which is, it's like, again, he's racked up a lot of wins in Indian Wells and Miami, but the only top 10 guy he beat is Sinner, right? In that run.
Right.
So like this is the toughest guy he's played, like on a slow court, outside of Alcaraz, who killed him, and Sinner, who just ran out of gas, which he always will against Medvedev. I'm convinced. Like that's just a good matchup for Medvedev. But that could happen to Rune too.
But Rune prefers clay.
It's also cooler, which I think is good for him. What's the weather in Monte Carlo? I'm sure it's going to be cool. Like every day, Monte Carlo is like 60s, but we'll look up the weather. They're calling for 50s tomorrow. This match is going to be played in the 50s, 55 to 56.
Yeah, that's cool.
0% chance of precipitation, Manny.
Okay.
And some light winds.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do here.
My initial thought was,
I think this is a stay away match.
Stay away.
I think so, because like, so I have a bunch of different narratives here. Like one, there's a mental narrative, right? Like I think Medvedev's mentally tougher than Rune, but I also think Rune just like might not care. Like he might not, like this whole like Medvedev being good thing, like that narrative. Like I don't think Rune's gonna get intimidated.
No,
but he might just not play well closing out the match.
Yeah, he could choke,
but he might not choke either. Like he's shown, like, you know, like he's like he won that Paris Masters title, like, so he's shown that he can run through tough draws, like, and beat top guys. So like he beat Tsitsipas the French last year, right? So like there's
this also could be like a tight 3-setter, but it could also be like Rune 2-2.
Yep.
Right. I don't think it could be Medvedev 2-2 because his game is not big enough. Right.
I also think regardless of that, like he's like there's no reason that Rune will come out and lose this match 2-2.
Yeah.
Right. Like Rune could. I mean, he might be better than Medvedev on clay. Like Medvedev has a tendency to get to these rounds in these types of tournaments and lose a match badly, a la the Cilic match last year at the French.
So I think like from a market standpoint, I think the most value I see on the board here is actually the Rune straight sets at plus 180. Just because, just say Medvedev is like fatigued and like, you know, that was a lot of tennis for him playing late at night when Rune didn't play. Like, I think there is that narrative where Rune can kind of run away with this just because of like also the firepower gap. And like Rune is pretty comfortable moving forward too. So like a lot of the things that Medvedev did today against Zverev, I don't think he can get away with against Rune, for example. And I know there's that mental component and there's that, feeling of invincibility, like since he has barely lost. But if a guy just outplays him, like Alcaraz did, like that's a possibility here. I think
Yeah,
you're getting plus
yeah.
180. If that was like plus 120 or plus 125, I don't like it. But plus 180, I don't mind it. No?
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at a bunch of stuff here. So, couple of interesting things, but
Hmm.
maybe not so interesting. I don't know. Like Medvedev. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like this feels like it's Medvedev's time to die.
Hmm.
Um, but maybe not. I wish we had seen these guys play before because I don't know if Rune's gonna run out of gas. Like if like Medvedev's gonna gas Rune out because like will Rune come in and finish off points at the net? Like will he know how to play Medvedev? Is he good
Well,
enough tactically to play Medvedev the right way? Or
well,
will
I
he
saw
try to
Patrick
ball bash?
Mouratoglou was in Rune's box. I thought they parted ways. I guess not.
I don't know.
So I saw him in his box. He was like coaching him up at in the locker room. Was that just for like extra publicity or something? That's what it
Probably.
felt like.
Probably.
But um, Ruud is pretty comfortable at net. He's pretty comfortable moving forward.
Is he smart enough to know he has to come in,
That's
win
yeah,
this
that's the
match?
question. I
I think this is a stay away. There's too many questions, man.
Too many question marks. Okay.
Like if anything, you probably just say, hey, there's a ton of question marks. It's a coin flip and take the Medvedev money line. But it's so thin, and I have
It's
no idea how
thin.
to
Yeah,
value
I
it.
don't. I actually
But
think
I'd love to see what people on Twitter are saying about this.
yeah, that's a good point. I think the lack of the firepower gap is actually going to hurt Medvedev here.
Really?
Yeah, because like in these cold conditions, really slow conditions, like I don't. Medvedev is going to have trouble hitting through the court, and that ball might sit up for Rune to attack. The more I think about this matchup, the more I'm leaning Holger Rune.
And you would take a minus 130 money line?
No, I'm going to take the minus 1.5 sets at plus 180. And then I also have a Rune futures to win the quarter.
Yeah.
So
I think if you're gonna play this, I like playing it at a plus money because there's just so many narratives
mhm.
that like
Do you like the plus 2.5 set, the over 2.5 set line at plus 135? Like Rune starts the match well and then like has a mental lapse and goes away.
not really.
It's not good enough. I think there are a lot of narratives that scream blowout as well here. So, all right. I'm gonna play the minus 1.5 sets at plus 180. That's how I'm gonna play. I don't have too much confidence in it, but I like the price. I like the price. Last match of the day, Musetti and Sinner. So this line is at -4 for Sinner, -300 on the money line. The over-under is 21. Um, See, to me, I just don't think Musetti can back up a win like that. Like, I
I
think
don't think so either. And the reaction, his reaction after the match, it
yeah,
looked like he'd won the tournament.
right.
Like he was acting like he wasn't so much like acting like bratish, but like
Yeah,
he was like there was a lot of happiness on the Musetti side
yeah.
for beating a guy who was playing like absolute crap. Like Djokovic did not even play top 20 tennis today.
Yeah, you don't go to the crowd when you win a third round match. Like, like go into the stands. Like
Yeah,
that's reserved if you have a trophy in hand. Like
yeah.
so I'm very pro center here. I actually like laying the 4. What's center
What's center in straights?
minus 110 on the exacta? Minus 115. Minus 110 is the best you can get on that. I like that too.
I think I like that better. Like is 4 really like I'd rather lay sets than 4 games. Well, actually, I don't know.
I
I
like
prefer
4
to lay the
because I
game.
could easily see a 6-2 set.
Easily seems Eddie going away.
Yeah.
I think I prefer to lay the games.
I might, like 4, I might like do an alternate line and add to it.
Oh, go the other way.
No, go like center minus 5.5 at plus
That's what I'm saying. Might go the other
5.
way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not getting that much for the to going all the way up to plus 1. It's like the thing is, I think Musetti's going to break center serve. Like I see a lot of breaks.
But to do that, he has to play disciplined tennis and like actually dial in mentally. And probably Sinner is playing at a higher level than Djokovic right now. So he might even have to play better than what he did.
Oh, well, he's not going to win the match.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, I think Sinner's going to blow him out. I think it's going to be like 2-3.
I agree.
So that's why I'm willing to go more aggressive. I might go minus 6 and play plus 250. I might do that and then do the straight set line at minus 110.
It's so appetizing.
Plus 250 is appetizing.
I think I'm just going to lay the 4 games.
But like 4 and 6, is it really that? Like if Musetti goes away mentally, he's losing this match 2-2. Right?
Well, but he could be competitive for 1 set and then go away in the second set, which I actually think that's the most likely.
But so if it's 4 and 1, that's more than 6.
But if it's 6 and 2, it's 5, or if it's 5 and 2, it's a push, right? Like
it's plus 250 as opposed to minus 130 or minus 120. I think that's a big difference for 2 games.
Obviously it is, right? It's a massive difference.
Massive difference. 4 he covers easily, in my opinion.
I get you. I hear you. I wish you could bet the second set line or the second set spread here.
Yeah, I agree. You can only do that as a live bet, right?
Yeah.
Do you like Sinner to win every set, love 1 and 2 at plus 900?
It's so hard to actually pull that off.
On clay, it's a little easier.
Yeah.
But Sinner doesn't return quite well enough.
No, like it's annoying. Like I could see this being like 4 and 2, but which is probably why I think 6 games is a lot.
It's a lot. I just think if Musetti goes away and is not competing mentally.
Is there a bagel line out here?
Looking for the bakery product. They usually have it as like any set to nil, right? Is that the?
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, they do have second set correct score groups. Sinner, love one
Only
and two,
plus
plus
250 though.
Yeah.
But it's tempting.
I like first service break for Sinner at minus 185. No?
No, I'm still thinking about that. Do I like the Sinner? Do I like the Sinner 6-2 or 6-2 in a set?
Love one and two.
Yeah, like 6-2. Do I like him 6-2 or better in a set for the second set?
Yeah, that's not a line you play in the first set, but second set, I like it.
Yeah.
It's a cool prop.
That might be my play. In fact,
Plus
that is my play.
250.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially because I think that, like, they're giving me the same line for the first set and the second set on that, right? Oh, wrong match.
Yeah. But see, in that instance, I like the 6 games better because then you're basically like that could happen in both the first or the second if you lay the 6.
Yeah, but you still, if it's a 2, you need Sinner to win in straights, or you need Musetti to, like, and you could still have 4 and 2, which is a push. Like, 6 is a lot, man, at the ATP level. I don't hate it though. It is plus 250.
Yeah. And considering minus 5.5 is plus 165, and when you go up to 6, it goes up way like.
Well, but that's a little bit of just a numbers game. It's a little bit fooling because, like, the difference there in break even percentage is only like 8 or 9%, which is pretty significant, but it's not as big as it looks.
Okay. All right. So that does it for the quarterfinals. You want to come up with like a parlay of the day?
Honestly, I have such little that I like here. There's just so many well set lines. Like, I think the only thing I really like here is Tsitsipas and straights. And I think I think everything else, like, I think the market did a really good job here. And the Sinner laying and something on Sinner, laying something on Sinner. I just don't know what. I should decide what.
You want to do a money line parlay of Rublev, Tsitsipas, Rune?
You know what? I really don't, because I think there's a narrative out there that says that Struff is a really tough matchup for Rublev. Just matchup wise. So I don't necessarily love that. I don't like that money line in either direction. I don't have a good enough feel for Rune Medvedev. So, like, like this might be a really low volume day for me tomorrow.
Okay. Well, you have a lot of futures in play, right? So I guess we can.
I have Sinner to make the final at 9-1, which looks amazing now.
That looks really good.
I mean, it is scary because they'll have to play Medvedev, right? If Medvedev beats Rune up to play Medvedev, which, like, I think they could play that in Sinner's basement, and I wouldn't feel good about it. Like,
So I guess you are rooting for Holger Rune, right? Because, like, I'm sure you would.
Oh, I am rooting for Holger Rune all the way. I just don't know if I'm going to bet him, right? Like, I root with my heart. I bet with my head.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, so the markets have done pretty well. I'm still not all the way there with the Tsitsipas 1.5 sets. I'm still leaning the Fritz way, man. I don't know. I think you're higher on Tsitsipas than I am. Ooh, the line just moved to plus 210 for Fritz. So I'm pretty confident in Holger Rune, actually. Like, the more I think about that matchup, I just think, like, yes, Medvedev is physically amazing and stuff, but like that had to have taken some toll on him. Like, he's human. And Rune had the day off, and I think the surface is better for him. I don't know. A lot of things point in Rune's direction to me. So, and I'm confident with Musetti. Oh no, with Sinner. I mean, Sinner.
Yeah, I'll probably play. I'm gonna play something pro Sinner.
Yeah,
I might actually play them both. I'm gonna play that second set prop, and then I'm gonna take the games as well.
Are you gonna go the more aggressive route or just the -4?
I think the -4 because I have the second set line.
Okay. Okay. All right, sounds good.
And then my parlay for the day for tomorrow is going to be the Tsitsipas and Sinner.
Oh, Sinner on the games, and then
Tsitsipas on the sets.
So I think I will do the same, but I'm not as confident about the Tsitsipas one. So I'm going to do the Sinner one with the Holger Rune.
Okay.
The Sinner laying the games and Holger Rune parlay.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to do. So
yeah, really lame day for me tomorrow, man.
Yeah, well, the matches will be fascinating. So
A, the match will be fascinating, and B, like, I just think, like, I mean, we talked about it, even the marks just hit it bang up. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm still reading it. I'm going to read a little more about that Rublev Struff match, but like, man, it just seems like.
Yeah, I think I'll hit that straight set, but I don't have too much confidence in it. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I might lay off, actually.
Rublev Struff?
Because I have a Rublev future, so I might just lay off of it. I do think Rublev wins, though, so I might add him in that parlay. Just the money line. But
yeah.
All right, so that does it for our quarterfinal preview. Thanks again for listening. And we'll be back probably Sunday night to recap the end of this event and then preview next week.
I mean, you're probably gonna get so jazzed up about the semis. We'll probably be back on tomorrow night. Let's be real.
All right. No, actually tomorrow night I'm not available, unfortunately. So no semi preview, but we'll post on Twitter.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm not available Saturday night, so no finals preview either. So
okay. All right. Sounds good, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks to all the followers. Thanks to anyone who's viewing. We appreciate it. Hopefully you get some interesting takes out of this.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Take care.